Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to Craft and Chat. I'm Miss Tracy of Miss Tracy Creates, and I have a fun project for us to work on today. And it's all red, white, and blue. Super cute. I think you're really going to enjoy it. So come on in and say hi. Let me know that you're out there watching. I'm going live right now on my Facebook page and also on my YouTube channel. And I would love to see you guys comment today. Yeah, let me know if you're happy that it's Friday. Are you glad it's Friday? Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Hello. Good to see you guys out there. Good morning, Vicki. Good morning, Janet and Diane. Good morning, Lori. Hello, Marty and Patty and Anne Marie. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. As you know, summer is quickly approaching. It's going to be June before we know it. And it's a great time for us to start putting out that patriotic decor, right? So you may not think that butterflies could be patriotic, but they can be. And they're so, so cute. And I love to put them out, around some of my other summery decorations. I like to kind of mix patriotic with summer. And so I think you're really going to love these. Okay. You're going to love these. So let me kind of walk you through. I did a little bit of pre-painting, but I'm going to walk you through what I'm using today. I'm using these cute little wooden shiplap butterflies. They are adorable. And I think it's Susan Lyles is going to be with me today in the chat. Let me see if we see her in here just yet. I think she's in the chat with me today, so she'll be posting some links for you. We're going to use this adorable shiplap wood butterfly. I'm also going to be using some good old wooden clothespins, these wooden clothespins. I used these to create some fabric butterflies in my fabric fan club, and they turned out so cute. And I was like, why not make some with napkins? Why not use a wood butterfly and decorate them with some napkin art? So that's what we're going to do today. These particular little clothespins, these wooden clothespins, come with a stand. Okay. So they have a little stand that pops in. That way they can stand up. And I love that. Okay. I love that. So we sell these in sets of 2. That's why I have 2 butterflies here. We sell the clothespins in 2 because I want to do 2. I think pairs look really good together. But a single, of course, would be just as cute. And then I'm going to make it even extra special today. These are the napkins that I'm going to be using. I'm using this red, white, and blue wood grain napkin. I love this napkin. We're going to jazz it up with a little bit of fireworks as well. Okay, so I think these are going to be really, really cute. So let's see. Here is, Susan's in the chat with me today. Hello, Susan. And looks like Leanne is here also. Awesome. Okay, so these are the 2 napkins I'm going to be using. Now, we decided just from the get-go, I wanted to give you a little freebie today. All right, we're going to give you a little freebie today. So if you purchase a shiplap butterfly, if you purchase a butterfly, just one, you don't have to order 2, that's up to you. But if you purchase a butterfly, we're going to throw this in with your purchase. So free with purchase, you're going to get a whole napkin. This is a luncheon size napkin, so it's a big napkin. You're going to get a luncheon size napkin of the wood grain, red, white, and blue while supplies last. And you're going to get half, oops, I think I cut this in half. Yeah, you're going to get half a napkin of the fireworks because you're not going to need a whole entire napkin for this. Okay, and I didn't have quite as many of these left. So that's what you'll be getting with your purchase. So if you want to make these along with me and yours look like mine, you can easily do that today. The other thing I'm going to be using is some baker's twine. Red, white, and blue. You can decide whichever color you like best. I'm also going to be using a little bit of patriotic ribbon and then a little bit of wire. I pulled a couple little colored wires out of my stash for their antennas. Okay, butterflies have to have antennas. They'll look super, super cute. All right, let me kind of get myself set up here a little bit better. All right, good morning, Janet. Good morning, Melinda. Hi, Carol. You're welcome. You're welcome, everybody. Yes, I hope that you will love creating this project. So the first thing we're going to do is just get some paint on these pretty butterflies. All right, you can see I've already painted this one. I painted the backs, painted the sides, just white paint for this. Just white paint for this. If we don't paint them, okay, if we don't paint them, then when we put our napkin art on, the actual raw, that kind of, I call it naked wood, that naked wood color will come through your napkin anywhere where there is white. And I don't really want that to happen this time. I do like for it to happen sometimes, and that's something I can show you in a future Craft and Chat. But for today, I want it to look crisp and white, okay? And I am finishing off a jar of paint, and I am so happy. I'm down to just the last little bits of the paint in this jar. And it looks like I'm going to get it all used up. All right. So I painted the fronts and the backs, and then just kind of cleaned up my brush on the edges. I don't mind if the edges look a little bit kind of hit or miss, kind of a fun little bit of a distress look. So that's usually what I do when I paint mine out, is I just paint the front. I paint the back first, dried it. Here you can see on this one, I painted the back first, dried it, painted the front, and I kind of just clean up my brush on the edges. I don't try to get it all super perfect. I just kind of, clean up around the edges. So that's what's going to happen first. So I did a little bit of that ahead of time, just so you didn't have to sit here watching me paint. Okay. So let's go ahead and dry this one. Oh, the other thing, I am going to use a couple of little wooden stars here. Again, just little wooden stars. You probably have something in your stash. You might even have like a star button. This is just going to be a little embellishment. Okay, and you'll see how we'll use these here in just a little bit. All right, so we're going to get those painted out. I like to kind of get the messy stuff done first. I'm debating painting these, okay, and I think I'm actually going to go ahead and at least paint the stand here. So let's see if I can squeeze out just a little bit more paint. Almost forgot about these. Yeah, I think I can. I'll put a little water in here. I bet if I get a little water in here. All right. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and paint these out white as well. We're going to be doing something special to these. The clothespins are going to become their body. And you'll see. We'll get to that step in just a minute. So let's go ahead and paint these out. I don't know. I was debating, should I paint them? Should I not? But I really do think they'll look better painted. So really just have to paint around the sides on those. And then let's go ahead and give them just a quick coat of paint. Don't worry about the inside part of the clothespin. You don't have to paint that. I love creating with these old style wooden clothespins. I just think they're so cute. And they'll be perfect for our butterfly bodies. All right, let's see. I'll just lay it down. Okay. All right. Have you guys started putting out your patriotic decor? I know some people like to have it out before Memorial Day. I'm a little late on mine. I do have a few things out, but I haven't put like all my summer stuff out yet, but I need to. It's time. It's time. All right, let's get a little white on here. Just a quick coat. Doesn't have to be anything great. All right, and we'll lay those down. Happy Friday, Tracy. Good to see you watching today. You put yours out last week? Awesome. All right, let me clean up my fingers here. Good morning, Jill. Yep, it's that time. It's that time to kind of start switching out some of our decor. for summer. And I really love, I generally leave a lot of my patriotic decor out the whole summer. I don't take it down till after Labor Day in September when I'm getting ready to transition to fall. And so I like for my patriotic to kind of have a little bit of a summer splash or summer feel to it. It just blends in well with my other summer stuff. Hi, Deb. Good to see you watching. You just ordered? That's awesome, Sia. Thank you. Okay. All right. That's probably as clean as these hands are going to get for now. Okay. Again, let me come in here and just dry these. So I did paint these little wood stars white. I don't know for sure if I'm going to leave them white. I may wind up giving them a color. I just haven't quite decided yet. So we'll figure that out here shortly. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move some of this messy stuff out of the way for a moment. Let's see, I'm just going to scoot it up here just a little bit. All right, there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this butterfly. Like I said, I painted the back. It's all painted, the sides, all the things. And the first napkin we're going to start with today is going to be this awesome red, white, and blue wood grain napkin. I love it. Now, sometimes, you guys, it's easier. You know, I was trying to think, do I want, well, let's start here. First off, do I want my wood planks going up and down? Do I want my wood planks going side to side? All right, like horizontal versus vertical. I'm inclined to go horizontal on this because of the way the wings kind of fan out like that. I personally think it's just, you know, honestly, it is just personal preference, whatever you would like for it to be. And so that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to kind of position my butterfly right here on this bottom corner. And let me see if I have my friction pen, or do I have it downstairs? I may have it downstairs. Okay. Oh, no, I have it. It's right here with some of my stitching stuff. Okay, so I'm just going to use a friction pen for this. And if you prefer to actually see it so that you can see where you're going to put your butterfly, we can do it just like this, right? Because maybe you want more blue, maybe you want more red. I don't know. I'll let you position it onto your napkin any way that you want. It's really up to you. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead now and trace around this. Now, most of the time, you know, sometimes we can just sand the edges off, all of that. But sometimes with different shapes, it can be a little bit harder to get your sanding file or your sandpaper or sanding block, whatever you're using. Sometimes it's a little harder to get it down into all the nooks and crannies. So it is okay if you want to just trace it out. Okay, so I'm actually going to trace 2 of these because I want the back of my butterfly to look just as cute as the front of my butterfly. And as I mentioned, you're going to get a whole napkin of this because I just love this napkin. I love this napkin so much. So if you wanted to, you could even bring it down. It doesn't really matter to me if it matches on the front or the back. I'm just going to go ahead and just put it in this square here. And it is the same. It's mirrored, so it's the same, you know, on both sides, the same shape. So I'm going to cut out 2 butterflies here. Okay. And then, you know, just, you know, always, sometimes you wind up with a little bit of, oops, I have a couple spots that didn't grab. We may wind up, because anytime you trace something and you cut it out, you're going to wind up with a little bit of extra. And that's okay, but that we can sand over, or we can just decoupage down to the side. Okay. There we go. So now just going to take my scissors here and cut this out. So if you do purchase a shiplap butterfly from us today, we're going to throw in the napkins I'm using. Okay, we're going to give you a whole napkin of the wood grain, and then we're going to give you a half napkin of the fireworks, which is this one. And I'll show you how we're going to use that one here in just a minute. So I'm going to make one of these butterflies with you today, and then during Craft and Chat, and then I'm going to make another one, and just a little bit different. I think I'm going to position my second one a little differently on the wood grain napkin. So maybe the second one has more blue on it than red or something like that. And then I'm going to be wrapping their bodies with the baker's twine. And so because I want to do a pair, I'm going to be wrapping one of them in red and white baker's twine and one of them in blue and white baker's twine. Okay. Yes. Yeah. I know we have several butterflies in stock. Obviously this will be while supplies last. It's going to be so cute. This, I love this wood grain in the red, white, and blue. So cute. If you're in my napkin club, you got this napkin in your May bundle. And yeah, I just love it so much. So it's going to add a lot of character to our butterflies. Okay, there's one. Now let's cut this one. So who has crafty plans this weekend? Anybody going to do some crafting? I'm actually home. I'm home Saturday. Sunday, I'm going to go visit my dad, and we've got to do a few chores for him and get some groceries and things like that for him. But I am going to be home tomorrow, and I'm probably going to be doing a little cleaning in my craft room. My craft room needs a little cleanup. Of course, after I clean up, one of the first things I want to do is sit down and craft. So I'm sure I'll be doing some crafting tomorrow as well. Oh, well, happy birthday, Cheryl. Thank you for popping in today. Tell your mom we all said happy birthday. All right, almost done with the cutting. I do like to trace and do my cutting of my napkins while they're still intact, meaning with all the plies. I don't know. I find they cut better. If you take the plies off first, the top, that tissue is so thin that it could tear easily. So I really like tracing and cutting before I take the plies off. Okay, so there's a couple different things that we can do here. I like to do the lick and stick method. Just tap my finger and my thumb together and press to pull my plies apart. If that doesn't work for you, you can put a tiny dot of Mod Podge on your finger and press your fingers together till it feels really sticky. And then you could do that as well. Now I want you to see, I mean, this gets really sheer. It's very, very sheer. We just want to use the top tissue. If we don't, if we forget to take the plies off and we go to, oh, this one's coming off already. We go to take our, we go to decoupage our napkin. What happens is the top napkin tries to lift. It bubbles, it lifts, it tears, and that's the piece that has the pretty artwork on it, right? So we don't want that to happen. So we're going to remove those plies. Now, my plan is this. I plan to put one piece on the front and another piece on the back. Okay. So that way it looks consistent on both sides, and it will be pretty on both sides. So wherever you stand these, remember these are going to be standing butterflies. They're going to look so, so cute. So let me move this one. Let's go ahead and work with this one right here. And I think my stuff is dry now. Like I said, I'm going to do a pair, but with you guys on Craft and Chat today, I'm going to just finish out one. And that way you'll know exactly how to do it. And then I'll take pictures of the pair so that you can see how cute they look paired together. I also have on my napkin art earrings today. Can you see that? Whoops, let's turn them around to the correct side. Why is this so hard when you're on camera? Yeah, to remember which side. There we go. So these are just wooden earrings. They're really lightweight. I love them, and they have napkin art on them. And we recently shared that the replay of the video of me making these on my page here. So you can always go back and watch that if you want to. I'm just going to be using Mod Podge Matte today, which is the yellow label. I think I have enough in here. Oh, yeah, I do. Okie dokie. I'm going to grab a brush. And let's go ahead. We're going to do the back first. All right, so I'm just dipping into the Mod Podge, and I'm going to apply what I call a healthy coat. It should look nice and wet. When you hold it up in the light, you want to look and make sure, because we're putting, white Mod Podge onto a white surface. It's hard to tell sometimes. So just hold it up in the light and make sure that you can see that it's all nice and wet. Okay, we want to cover every bit of it. If by chance you're wanting to put your butterflies outside, like under a, somewhere on the front porch, under a covered patio, something like that, you can, but I would just recommend that you seal them with like just a clear spray sealer that is made for outdoors. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of lay this in place. Looking for my napkin tissue here. So I'm just going to use a piece of plastic wrap. This is actually an old one. I let them dry sometimes in between, and then I can reuse them. You can only reuse them when they're dry though, okay? Because usually a little bit of Mod Podge comes out. So I'm going to go around all the side parts here. So cute. So now, as I was mentioning, the edges here, we can, if you wanted to sand those, you could, but because we traced it, they're really not, it's not much here. So I'm just going to put a little bit of Mod Podge around the edges of the butterfly and then just lay those edges right down into that Mod Podge. Yeah, it's just a very little bit. So I'm going to kind of go around like that and then just bring my brush over the top, kind of lay that part down. Yeah, very, very easy. And then I don't have to worry about sanding. Yeah. Okay, now before we do the other side, I'm going to go ahead and dry this. I want to make sure that it's really good and dry before I turn it over. Don't you like the wood grain? Isn't that pretty? Looks like you put all those wood slats together and painted them. Yeah, those are bakery deli sheets is what I use. anytime I'm decoupaging a smooth surface, that's what I like to use to smooth the napkin down. All right, that feels pretty good and dry. And I'm on a nonstick craft mat, so that helps too. And so now let's decoupage this side. So again, a nice healthy coat. And if you're doing more than one, I would just kind of assembly line this, right? I would just kind of assembly line it so you're doing all the same steps to both at the same times. I'm going to finish off this jar of Mod Podge today too. I'm going to have to restock supplies in my craft room this weekend. All right. So again, just, we just want to be sure you can kind of see it in the light here. We want to make sure it all looks nice and wet. We don't want to miss any spots. And now we're just going to lay this napkin tissue again right on top. It is nice that when you trace things that they do wind up just a little bit bigger. And the reason that is because sometimes when we lay our pieces down, it's hard to get them exactly lined up. So it's nice to have, I call that wiggle room. You got a little bit of wiggle room there. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the edges. Just any part of my napkin that's kind of hanging over the edge, I'm just going to put a little Mod Podge on the sides of the butterfly, the edges, and then just brush down right up on top of it. So now it's going to look like this beautiful rustic, we'll use that again in a second, this beautiful rustic wood piece. Very cute, very patriotic, very cute. Okay, so let me get around a little on the sides here. I'll go ahead and do this whole half wing. And then just once you have it on the sides, then just bring it down. I am going to go ahead, we'll be doing a coat over the top. Yeah, it's not very much, so it's very easy. Lay that down or sand it off, whichever you prefer. Okay. So I'm going to dry this side now just a little bit. Make sure everything looks good. And then I thought it would be fun to kind of maybe jazz up our butterfly just a little bit. Since these are for, meant to be patriotic, right? They're meant to be patriotic. This is where my fireworks napkin is going to come into play. So how could I use the firework napkin? Well, I was kind of considering actually putting the fireworks down where the white stripes are. Okay, so if that's what I'm going to do, I'm just going to lay my napkin down here. Actually, it may be easier to go this way with it. I'm going to lay this one right down in that white, on that white strip, so I can line it up with the edge. And then just come in and make myself a crease right across. Yeah. Now I'm going to turn it over. The other thing I think these butterflies would be really cute for, if you didn't want them standing, like if you didn't want to use the little stand on the clothespin, the body, I think they'd be cute as stakes. Like if you just put like a dowel rod or something on the back, and you put them into your plants or into, your greenery or arrangements, I think they'd be really cute, kind of flying around in your arrangements like that. So I think adding in a little bit of fireworks is going to be really cute. Just kind of a pop of color. So let's come over here and do this one. Now this one's going to be a little bit different because I don't really need, I'll just sand off the edges. Let's see how long I need this piece to be. And I want to make sure I get some red and some blue. So I'll do that piece there. And I bet, yeah, if I just turn this, I can get this piece here. Yep, for sure can. Okay. So this is optional, but again, it's just to make them a little more festive, right? Just make them a little more festive and fun. So let's take off the plies. You're enjoying the butterfly? Oh, thank you, Deborah. I'm so glad to hear that. But I think patriotic butterflies are cute. I'm not the only one. I've seen lots of them out there on Pinterest and other places. But again, because I kind of like the summery feel of patriotic projects, because then I feel like I can leave them out longer, and they also look good and they blend in well with my my other summer projects, right? So I'm going to come in and just put my Mod Podge right here on that one, the white part, the white stripe. All right, and we're going to lay that piece down. Now let's do this side. I will sand these off. It'll be easy to just come in and sand that off. I think they're going to be really cute. So I do think they look cute as like in your garden or in your greenery, flower arrangements, you know, anything like that. You just stick them down. Be really cute. Okay, so we have those two pieces down. Let's do this piece. And of course, these would be cute, really, with any kind of napkins. If you just want to use some floral, you know, some cute floral napkins, stripes, I think they could be cute no matter what colors or what kind of napkins you're putting on them. Okay. And there we go. All right, let's go back to my plastic wrap here. Smooth that down well. I'm going to take my fingernail, you guys, because this goes down kind of right between the body and the wing. And I'm just going to use my fingernail to kind of press the napkin in on that little crease there. And then let's smooth it up here. And smooth it down right here. Now I think I'm just going to do this on the front. We're just going to make the fronts of the butterfly with the fireworks. All right, let's dry this. It's always good to dry them before you sand the edges, just in case you don't want anything to pull or tear. And I only put it on the white. That way it still, you know, keeps a crisp background, and the reds and blues don't change color. I know. I think they'd be really cute in a bouquet or even in a wreath. They'd be really cute in a wreath. You could wire them in something. It'd be really cute. Oops. Sorry. Dropped my heat gun off the table. Okay, so I'm going to take just a little piece of sandpaper now, and I'm just going to sand off these edges. Really easy to go around this rounded part. Yeah, if you're in the napkin club, you already have this red, white, and blue wood grain. And then this fireworks napkin, it's older. It was in the napkin club, but gosh, I don't even remember exactly when. It might have been from last summer or the summer before. And just a little bit on this side. Okay, so where I used my finger to kind of push this in, I'm actually just going to take my scissors here and clip that. There we go. Just going to clip it nice and close. If you can get your sandpaper in there too, but sometimes just clipping it is all you need. Okay, so now our butterfly looks a little more festive, right? It looks a little more festive. So next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and put a top coat on over this, and then we're going to dry it. And actually, while it's drying, we'll work on the bodies. We'll work on the body. So it is going to be important that we do something to protect the napkin art. Okay, we have to seal the napkin. Sometimes we do pen work on our napkin art and we have to seal it. Otherwise, the napkin tries to absorb the ink. But we still need to seal them. Even if we're not doing pen work, we need to protect them. Remember, it's still just a really thin tissue. So that's exactly what this top coat of Mod Podge is going to do. It's going to protect it. And then also, again, those of you that may want to put them outside in a wreath on your front door, in a greenery arrangement, or maybe even just out in the garden, right? In your flower garden with stakes or something like that. You would want to additionally spray it on top. Spray the whole thing back and front and sides and all the places with an outdoor clear sealer. Okay, a sealer made for outdoors, and it'll say it on the can. All right, so I think I'm just going to let this. I normally would just dry this, turn it over, top coat the back side, but I'm going to put this to the side for a moment, and we're going to work on the bodies. So it is going to look kind of milky at first, but it's going to dry crystal clear. Okay, it's going to dry crystal clear. Yeah, it gives the butterfly a little extra pop. Plus, we can add sparkle, right? We can come in and add stickles, make it sparkle, all the things. So what we're going to do next here is focus on the body. Let me just kind of show you with the butterfly that's painted that I haven't napkinized yet. We're going to wind up putting this body right on top. We're not going to slide it in. We're going to glue this right on top. So you will have a front to your butterfly. We're going to hot glue that on, but we're going to do something to it first. But look, isn't it like perfect? It just fits perfectly. It looks so good. And then sliding on the stand, for those of you that want to have standing butterflies, look how cute. You just stand the little stand up, and then they will stand up, and you can put your patriotic butterfly wherever you want it to go. Okay? It's going to be really, really adorable. So I wanted to jazz this up as well. I wanted to add in some texture, some color. And so that's where my baker's twine is going to come into play. So I have some red and white and some blue and white. And I'm thinking on this one, I'm going to do red and white or blue and white. What would you guys do for this one? Yeah, I'm going to wrap this whole thing in twine. So I think I'm going to go with red and white. I'm going to go with red and white on this one that we just did. Okay. So this is going to be super, super, super simple. The first thing I want you to know is if you're going to stand it, put the stand on. Okay. Put the stand on, because if we wrap this whole thing in twine and then you try to push the stand on, it's not going to go on because of the thickness of the twine. Okay, so we're going to put the stand on. That's going to help us to know where to start. And I'm going to start with just a little bit of hot glue here at the bottom, kind of the bottom edge here. Don't need much. And just go ahead and wrap that right into the glue. Okay, we want that to just go right into the glue. Don't worry about glue hairs and all that. We can zap them with the heat tool and they'll disappear. Okay, so I'm going to go with the red and white for this one. It's a little brighter. And then on my second one, I'm going to do the blue and white. So I thought it would be cute to kind of make a pair, but have them look a little different. Okay, so I'm unwinding some of my twine here. Now I don't have to glue every inch along the way. Okay, I really don't. As long as I've glued here, now I'm just going to start wrapping. And I'm going to make sure that I'm wrapping it close together. This is why I painted it white. So just in case a little bit of it shows through, it will just be white, right? It'll blend in better than if it was the wood, that kind of naked wood color. So here we go. Just going to wrap. And every once in a while, if you feel like you can just kind of push it in. We want to make sure it's really close together. And just gonna wrap. So you're never wrapping on top of the twine. You're just wrapping right next to it. Can you see that? Just going right next to it. But isn't this going to look great? Just make sure and put your stand on the bottom. There we go. And I'm going to push down just to make sure they're staying nice and close together. All right. So when we get to where we're going kind of into this neck area, I am going to put a little bit of glue. Just a little line of glue, little dots of glue there. I'm using hot glue. You could use you could even use a like a craft glue if you want. Hot glue is just nice because it grabs it quickly, right? It grabs it quickly. Thank you, Heather. Heather says the fireworks were from 2003. I know we didn't have just a ton left. I'm going to do a line now of glue on this neck area. I don't have to put it everywhere, but this is going to help it just to kind of stay where I want it to stay as I'm wrapping into this neck area. Okay. Now we have a decision to make. Do we want to leave the head of the butterfly body white, or do we want to wrap it too? What do you guys think? Yeah, I've been kind of going back and forth over, should I wrap it? Should I not? Honestly, in a way, I kind of don't want to wrap it. I kind of like that the base is white and the head is white, but we'll have to decide. What do you guys think? Yeah, what do you guys think? Gail, it's okay. I'm sure Susan will reshare it here in just a moment. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a little glue here to end it. But I kind of like it left white. So, and that saves me from trying to have to end it up here on the top and all of that. So I'm going to come in now and just, I put down some glue. I'm going to trim it close, and then I'm going to put down a little bit more glue. Okay, because you know how baker's twine is, it may want to unravel a little bit. So we're going to make sure that that gets kind of glued off in there very, very nicely. Look how cute. Look how cute that is. Yeah, I think it'll look good because it's going to match the base. Okay. So the next thing I was thinking about going ahead and adding a cute little bow. I'm not going to necessarily wrap this around the body. I'm just going to make myself a cute bow. And when you're using ribbon on something that's small like this, I really like making, instead of making like a big bulky knot in the ribbon, what we're going to do is we're going to do the tribute style ribbon. And I know I've shared this with you multiple times, but guys, it's the easiest ribbon to make. It's the easiest bow to make. That's what I'm trying to say. It is so easy. So basically, I'm going to make myself kind of a tribute style ribbon, right? Quite appropriate for a patriotic project here. And I'm going to cut myself a little piece of the baker's twine again. So just kind of a tribute style ribbon. So the tails of this bow will be here and here. This is the center of the bow where it intersects. I'm going to take the take my fingers here at the top of the loop and put it behind the intersection. Okay, so you can kind of see what that does. It's going to make us a cute little bow here. Let's see if I have a clothespin close by. I don't think I do, but I think I can manage this without it. I usually like to hold this with a clothespin. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to take my clothespin here. My clothespin's kind of like my third hand. And I'm going to just put it over the bow so that way it stays. And then I'm going to take my twine. See, I'm going to take my twine and I'm going to tie it off. I'm going to take the clothespin off and make sure I'm kind of right in the center-ish. I also don't want these loops to be too big, so I can always kind of pull them in a little bit more. And I'm going to tie a knot. Not another bow, just a knot. Okay. So I think you can see, you can really pull down the tails, play with the loops, but we get a nice little bow. Okay, we can trim the tails here shortly. So the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and tie a knot in the end of the tail. I'm going to have these little tails just kind of hanging down. So I'm going to tie a knot in each one of the baker's twine, and then I'm going to cut it below the knot so that I get almost like a little tassel end, because you can unravel it right below the knot. I just think the little tassel-y look is cute. Okay, isn't that cute? Yeah, it's super cute. Okay. And then remember I told you that I painted these white stars, and I'm looking at them now and realizing I did not paint the edges because I was trying to decide if I wanted them to be white or not. I wasn't quite sure. I think you could paint them any color you want. I think if you want them to be blue, they can be blue. If you want them to be, red, they can be red. If you want them to be like metallic silver or metallic gold, that'd be pretty too. And so because I didn't paint the sides of this star, I'm just going to use my paint pen, my Posca paint pen. And I think you guys know how paint pens work. You just shake them and then you press them down. So this will probably be the quickest way for me to come in and paint the edges of the star. And again, I don't mind if it doesn't have to be perfect. I kind of like the little worn, distressed look on the edges anyway, especially given the fact that we used this kind of distressed painted wood grain napkin. So sometimes little small things like this, it's just easier to paint them with a paint marker. There we go. Okay. Just a paint marker, a paint pen. Let's try this. Dry it on the sides. Shouldn't take long for that to dry. And then I'm going to go ahead and dry my Mod Podge. I still see a few little wet spots. So I'm going to dry this out really quickly. It'll be nice and clear. And then we're going to put our butterfly together so you can see what it's going to look like. Oh, I almost forgot about the antennas. I almost forgot about them. Okay. We get our antennas going here. Okay, because I wrapped this one in red and white twine, let's give this one the blue wire. We'll give this one the blue wire. We're going to make some antennas. It's going to be easier, I think, for you to put the antennas on before we actually mount the body onto the butterfly. Okay, so I'm going to just kind of unravel myself some wire here, and you can find colored wire at your craft stores. Yes, it does come in different colors and all the things, and this is really nice and thin, so it's very easy just for me to cut with my scissors. I hope I made these long enough. I hope I made this long enough. If I didn't, I'll cut off some more. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this around the butterfly's neck. Okay. I'm going to wrap this around the butterfly's neck. And I don't think I cut it long enough. Okay, let me cut it longer. In fact, I'll give you a measurement here. Okay, I'm going to say like 8 inches. Use these scissors. Let's see if that's about 8 inches. Okay, I lied. 10 inches. It's 10 inches is what I cut off. And the reason is we're going to do some little curly cues on the end, and I want to make sure I have plenty for that. Okay, so I'm going to take my wire here and wrap it around. I'm going to wrap both sides around because we want it to be nice and tight. Okay, so this wire is going to come right around the neck. And then I'm going to twist it like a bread tie. Okay, I'm going to just twist it like a bread tie. So it's twisted back here. Okay, so this where it's twisted is going to be the back of my butterfly body. So this is going to be the front of my butterfly body. All right, this will be the back. Okay, this will be the back. And I usually like to do this with like a small, if you have like a small paintbrush, something small. I'm gonna take the wire end here and I'm gonna wrap it around the small end of my paintbrush. Y'all see that? I just wrapped it around and then I'm gonna kind of push it tight. Okay. So I'm going to do the same thing with the end of this one. Just kind of wrap it around. Looks kind of like a pigtail, a little corkscrew, and then just push it down to make it tight. They don't have to be the same height. They can be kind of fun in that way. They don't have to be the same height. And because it's a wire, well, then we can kind of shape it to come out however we want to. So it's going to look like this, right? And if you want them to be longer, they can be longer. And then we're going to attach this down. So I may put just a tiny bit of glue back here at the back. Just a tiny, tiny, teeny, tiny little piece of, little bit of hot glue. Just to make sure they kind of stay where I want them to stay. And we're never going to see this part because this part is going to be wrapped around it's going to be glued down to the back of our butterfly. So I just put a little glue back here. Okay, just to help it to stay in place. Now let's glue the body on. So again, I'm just going to use hot glue for this. If these are going to be outside, you might want to use like E6000. That's a really good industrial strength, especially if you live in a very humid area or hot area like us here in Texas. If this were going to go outside on a wreath or in the garden or wherever, I would use E6000. Do y'all know what that is? It's just an industrial strength glue and it's super strong, but it takes time to set up. It takes time to dry. So what I would do is go ahead and put on a little bit of this and then a few dots of hot glue. That way the hot glue is your short term. It kind of holds everything in place while this sets up overnight. Okay, let's look. Look how cute. It's so cute, okay? And it stands. Yay, it stands. So I think that that's adorable. You do want to make sure that as you're gluing this on, that your stand is lower than the tips of your butterfly wings, okay? Otherwise those could get in the way. Okay, so I love that it just stands like that. I think it's so cute. Let's finish adding a little more embellishment. I thought it'd be fun to come in and add a cute little bow. So I'm going to put it kind of in the center here, kind of upwards of center. Put down a little hot glue. Put our little bow. Little patriotic bow. And And I say this all the time, but we are the boss of our bows. So if you need to add another little bit of glue somewhere just to get the tails to go exactly where you want them to go, then that's what you'll do. I'm going to cut this one just a little shorter and just let the twine just kind of hang down. And then we have our star here. And I'm going to glue the star right in the middle. Actually, I could put it in the middle, or I could put it above. I think I'm just going to put it in the middle. I just like the fact that this is going to look really dimensional. Now, if you don't want to use a star, this was that little wooden star. You might have a button that's a star. You might have the top of a brad. You could cut off the prongs and put that down, or you could even just put just a regular button. But I do think it looks cute to have something in the center of your bow. And then, of course, as this is standing, look how cute it is here. I'll put my hand behind the antennas. Isn't that cute? I just think she's precious. I think she's so, so cute. And again, on your next butterfly, like if you're going to make a second one like I am, well, I want it to be a little bit different. So what would I do differently? Well, I would position my wood grain stripes on here differently. So that way my fireworks wind up in different spots. Okay. And then I'm going to wrap my second one in blue and white twine. Okay, so they go together, but they're not identical, right? I think they'll just look really, really cute as a pair like that. Now, the other thing that we can do, and like I said, I just put this on the back. If you want to add the fireworks, you're going to have, if you buy the butterfly from us, remember we're throwing the napkins in free with your purchase. So if you want, you're going to have extra fireworks. So you could put fireworks on the back if you wanted to. I just wanted something back there so that it doesn't just look, like nothing. Just something. So if you see the back, that it looks finished. So I think they're precious. We're not quite done yet because we need to add some sparkle, right? We need to add some sparkle. So I'm going to grab some stickles. Let's grab some stickles. Stickles, I like the clear ones, but you can use whatever colors you want. Unicorn, diamond, and crystal. Those are my three favorites. They're really the only ones I ever use. But let's add a little sparkle. They are patriotic after all. So I'm going to, they have a little precision tip here. So I'm going to apply some sparkle. I love stickles because I don't have to use loose glitter. Loose glitter, not a big fan. So I'm going to put some, you can see the sparkle on the star, hopefully. It's kind of hard to catch it on camera. I also think I'm going to sparkle her pretty little head here. So if it's hard to reach in certain places, then I just use a paintbrush. So I'll kind of put some on and then I kind of pounce it. So everything that's white can sparkle. Aren't they going to be, they're just so cute. These would be cute. Those of you that have like tiered trays, just in a little vignette with some of your other summer or patriotic things. So I'm going to have my base sparkle. The star is going to sparkle. Let me put some back here. I know, right? Yeah, you might even have sparkly ribbon that you want to use. I mean, honestly, you can put stickles even on top of the twine, wherever you want it. You could put it all over the napkins if you wanted to. But I kind of like the rustic. I like the rustic mixed with the sparkle. Can you kind of see the sparkle there? I hope it shows up at least a little bit. So I'm going to also take some and I'm going to sparkle just my fireworks. So this will take me just a second. I'm just going to kind of go just almost like little lines, right? Just kind of coming in and sparkling. Now, remember, I did put my top coat on, and that's important. And those of you, if you're going to put them outside, if you're using a clear top coat, it will not affect your sparkle. Okay. It won't affect your sparkles, so don't worry about that. Those of you that are keeping them inside, you don't have to do a top coat back over this. Stickles is like a glitter glue, so there's no reason to go back in. Look at that sparkle. So cute. All right, let me sparkle this side. And then after this is dry, I'm done, and I can put it out on display. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to go ahead while I'm here at my craft table. I'm going to make my second one. And that way, when I take pictures, I can show you what they look like together. Yes, and you'll be able to watch the replay of this video. You'll be able to watch the replay of the video here on my Facebook page for the next 30 days, or it will be on my YouTube channel long term. Okay, you can watch it on YouTube there over there long term. So I'll continue to sparkle this bottom section, but I just want you to see the sparkle. Isn't it cute? I know, I just love it. I knew I wanted to make some patriotic butterflies. The second we started making, we made some fabric ones that we stuffed in my fabric fan club for spring. And oh my gosh, we had so much fun making them. And even at that point, I was like, oh, I want to make some patriotic ones. So if you're in my fabric fan club and you prefer to make these with fabric, then just do what we did for the spring ones with patriotic fabric. But I will tell you, the napkin art, the napkin way to go is going to be much faster than the stitching ones. Napkin art, you get immediate gratification, instant gratification. Stitching projects take us a little while longer. So cute. All right. It's all sparkled up. All right. What do you guys think about her? I love her. I love her. I love her a lot. So yeah, the color I just used is called Unicorn. Unicorn has like a little bit of kind of, it's got clear sparkle, but it also has a little fleck of gold and silver. And I don't know, I kind of like that. So that's the one I picked up. That's the one I used. Diamond is more of gold, and crystal is more kind of a, almost kind of a holographic kind of look. Thank you, guys. I love her too. I think she's just so adorable. I hope you guys had fun watching Craft and Chat today. I'm going to make her little friend here in just a moment. And then I will be posting pictures for you here on my page on Facebook. And then I think I can post a picture over in the comments on my YouTube channel. Okay. Yes. Thank you guys for watching. The clothespins for their body, we order them from a distributor, but I would imagine that craft stores carry these too, because people use them all the time for crafting. It is just it's the old-fashioned style wooden clothespin. And I get the stands for them. So the little stand here. So that way, if you want your butterfly to stand, you can just stand them wherever you want. Okay, I'll show you here. I know the camera's down, so it's hard to see, but they do stand up very easily. Okay, very easily. And as we mentioned, if you don't want to stand them up, if you want to put them, they'd be so cute in a wreath, I think, for summer. They'd be cute if you just put a little garden stake down and you stuck them in, like that could be a dowel rod, or even a paint stick that you napkinize, or I think a dowel rod would be easiest. Just glue it to the back and stick it into your arrangements or in the garden outside. Just remember, if they're going outside, I want you to see the little antennas. If you're taking them outside, just remember, even if they're under a cover, like the covered porch, patio, deck, wherever they're going to be, you need to spray them with an outdoor sealer. And I generally spray my projects after everything's on them. I mean, I spray even the ribbon, the everything, because I want everything to be waterproofed. Okay, so make sure the sealer you're using, it could be any brand, just a clear polyacrylic, just a clear sealer, and just make sure it says outdoor use on it. A lot of times it'll say indoor, outdoor use. Make sure you see the word outdoor and you'll be set. If I'm spraying something for outside, I usually put a thin coat on, I let it dry, and I do 3 coats. Okay, so 3 thin coats, letting it dry completely between coats. That's how I believe you get the best coverage and you don't get drips. Okay. Yes. Yep. His little antlers. My kids used to call them antlers when they were little. So I find myself from time to time calling them antlers accidentally. Little antennas. Okay. So thank you for watching Craft and Chat today. This was really a lot of fun. I hope you are inspired and now want to make yourself some patriotic butterflies to have out for the entire summer season. Thank you for watching. If you're watching on my Facebook page, I'd love for you to follow me here so I can share more creative inspiration with you. And also, if you're watching on my YouTube channel, if you'll just tap that subscribe button, that way you'll get notifications when I'm going live on YouTube. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful creative weekend. You guys stay crafty, and I'll see you soon here again on my page. Bye, everybody.